Alright, Vampire Logan here. I'm back. I just wanted to talk the next topic. I wanted to talk about dungeon masters and like fame for dungeon masters, which is a weird thing to talk about. When I started playing D&D back in the early 80s, it was so new and so nerdy and had to be kept a secret. And now there's people who do it for a living and do quite well with it. I know most people would think of Matt Mercer when you say that, but they're definitely successful. There's no doubt about that. Making ridiculous money. And he's had other talents as well. Just being a voice actor is kind of its own thing that has its own fame, and to turn that into D&D fame is pretty cool. But before Matt Mercer, there was this guy, and I don't know how many people know who this guy is. I didn't know about him until this movie came up on my my YouTube stream. I don't know why. It's about Dan Harmon, who is the creator of Community and Rick and Morty. And he's a pretty amazing guy, but this guy is his dungeon master. So a little background of this movie: he decided after getting fired from, I guess it was from Community, and he tried a couple other things and he was struggling, and he just decided to go on tour of, I don't know, a bunch of cities and get on a tour bus and just travel around, do a little comedy show and a little bit of Q&A kind of thing with his fans. And it did really well for him, and he brought Spencer along with him. And Spencer Crittenden, I think is his name, and he apparently DM'd a bunch of games, so they would do live D&D at these events. I assume that I haven't really seen it because you can only get it on a certain streaming platform that I don't have. So I will try and catch up with that at some point. But this predates Critical Role. So if you thought Critical Role brought DMing in public to the world, it was not so, and I did not know that either. So this guy, I don't even know when this movie is. It's definitely way back there though, like early 2000s. And it doesn't say there because that's when it was put on YouTube. But I recommend watching this whole movie. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Really gets into the personal life of Dan Harmon and how he writes. But this guy, I want to just show you a couple of clips of him because he's pretty good and a very understated guy. Oh yeah, I should find his origin story too, which is cool. But just, that's 420. That's so funny. 420 likes. I don't want to click on it now because that's funny. Let me copy this and go find his origin story. Actually, you know what? I can just tell it. It's fine. He basically was a fan of Dan Harmon, and he was a DM, and he played D&D, obviously, for a long time. And he decided to go to the show, and when he went to that show, he had in his mind that he would like to D&D for them. I guess he's seen Community and they talk about D&D on there, so he had in his mind that he would want to D&D for them, run them through a D&D game. And Dan Harmon got onto the topic of D&D independently of him coming there, and then he said, is there any DMs in the audience? And of course, he, somehow knowing to be there on that night, raised his hand, and they had him come up on stage and do some of what he's about to do right here. Actually, I'll show you this one. This one's pretty good too. Where's it? Yes, this one. So this is his best moment in the show, and it's pretty awesome.
Bring up Spencer at this point, Dan?
Yeah, let's bring Spencer up.
So we bring out
Jason
Spencer.
has no idea.
He's
He's never heard the show. He doesn't know.
There's a bunch of cool stuff.
Standing ovation for Spencer. I wasn't asking for it. That's reporting it. Spencer is our dungeon master. He plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, great.
This is Jason Sudeikis.
After facing down a nigh-naked foe with a wicked whip, the party gained access to a room full of lockers. They found treasure from a loot of charming to some beads of force to some magic arrows. Using a magical staff they found, the party ascended through some sort of hatch in the floor.
I should have recorded the next moment.
I fire a single arrow. I use all of my focus, and and also I'm really beautiful while I'm doing it.
At this point, you've accrued many magical arrows. So which one? You got non-lethal arrows, good aligned arrows, sleep arrows,
You
or
have
V
this
arrows.
memorized? I don't understand what's
I'm
happening.
a dungeon master.
Oh, what a line, man. He is so awesome. And look how jealous Dan Harmon is of that. He's taking all this.
Give him half. Give him half of the high fives.
Here, those are from those guys.
There you go, You had your guys' weapons and names memorized.
But also, and he remembers it all,
here's
and he writes it all
part of
down.
the
Amazing. I did not know this. A friend of his said, you know, that the day he came, he'd been listening to your podcast, and he said, you know, I want to see Harmontown because I really feel like I should play Dungeons and Dragons with Dan Harmon. He came to the show with the intent of meeting him and doing D&D with him.
That's incredible.
This guy just came to the show, said he'd run them a D&D game, and did it on stage. And I gotta give him credit. He's like an introverted guy, but he has no problem like just being calm and being up there. Like, I'd be freaking out, man. So, and here I am on Twitch streaming, so who knows? But there's only 3 people watching right now anyway, so I guess that's why I'm not so worried. But you know, this guy he's doing a great. Is gonna be this one. I think, yeah, this is a little funny one too. Considering it's still 420 on the likes, I like that.
Let's do an experiment. Let's get Spencer out here immediately.
All right.
Oh, shit.
We've never done it. Dan, we've never. Hang on, Spencer. Wait till you. Spencer. So, Spencer, I heard you did some hash brownie today, man. Is that true? How you
Nobody
doing?
texts
I'm doing
Spencer's
great.
parents and tell them he gets high.
I'm doing great.
Don't call them either.
Oh, Spencer. He had an accident with an edible.
It was on purpose.
But that was at 9 a.m. today, right?
No, I'm fine.
Hey!
He's a one-man Burning Man.
Spencer seems to have eaten an edible.
You have partaken of a potion that seems to be having a magical effect on you.
Gripped by haziness and lethargy, you reach for the Cheetos. See, I'm fine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he still got it.
One of the guys making the documentary, we were at this Thai food restaurant, and one of them said, "Hey, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I said, "Are you going to be able to Dungeon Master tonight?" And he said, "Yeah, give me the name of a monster." And
Can we try that out right now? Let's try a couple.
Yeah.
So, Spencer,
spot.
anyone from the
This
audience,
is pretty cool.
do you have think of not a real monster, make up a new monster.
The Tooth Beast. Spencer, the Tooth Beast.
You hear the gnashing and grinding of ivory against ivory.
I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to die.
Should I even go on at that point? Are we good?
No, you should. I mean, you could or you couldn't. It doesn't matter. I'm going to die. I'm going to die of happiness. Spencer, disaffected emotional parent monster.
Trying to get her attention, your mother looks over with a lazy, glazed-over look. She seems exhausted, as if the weight of the world rests on her shoulders.
you think that this might not be the best time to ask for ice cream.
He's a national treasure. He's a national treasure whose parents dropped him off at the bus.
I haven't seen the hair down. Look at this shit. He looks like a very successful bass player.
So
but God,
yeah, they just get this guy, and he's just really talented and witty. You know, he comes up with this stuff, and he does it on the spot. Like, he's really good, as most DMs do. Like, you make up a lot of stuff on the spot, but you know, and that kind of narrative stuff, it kind of comes with the territory of being a storyteller and everything. But you know, I don't know if in front of a crowd that many people live, if I would be quite so witty. So he's pretty cool guy. All right, let's go on to the next clip. And this is going to be for the wrap up. So this is him getting home after the tour.
I feel like I'm never going to get the chance to do this again. I mean, it's not every day that someone who's rich and famous pulls you out of obscurity and just lifts you up on a pedestal. People imagine themselves being rock stars so they could have a life like this. And all I had to do was be a nerd as a child.
Hello? Hey, I'm home. Did you miss me?
oh, of course, the great Spencer.
I hope that I'll approach life differently, you know, after this whole thing. I don't think people are really as aware of our mistakes as we are, and we just think and live in fear that everyone's judging us, but they're just doing their own shit and worrying about that everyone's judging them. So in light of that, it's like I don't have to worry about myself as much because people just kind of enjoy what I'm about. I mean, I very much hope that I can apply what I've learned to the rest of my life.
What a great attitude.
But
So
I don't know, I'm a
too.
pretty stubborn person.
He was pretty easy going to me. Cat videos. That's a super humble DM that got to be lifted up into fame early on before Mr. Matt Mercer. And then Matt Mercer came along and did even more cool stuff. I can't say that. I haven't seen their show, but you know, to go so far with that, you know, a $10 million Kickstarter and an Amazon deal and a animated TV show, like that is some crazy, from just playing in your apartment to going all the way up there. That's the dream I think all of us who are doing D&D online would love to have. But most of us will never really see it. So I don't know. It's like inspiring, and at the same time it's like, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, just keep doing it. I don't know. And then they get someone like Arcadum, who got up to those heights and then took advantage of his fame, and you'd think he would have lost it all because of that. Like, he treated it poorly. He didn't do the right thing. And granted, the stuff he did was kind of like pretty weak sauce. Like, it's more cringeworthy than it is like predatory. So I mean, he used his position definitely to as like, he didn't force anybody to do anything, but he used it as sort of like a weak passive aggressive club, or like a limp club. I don't know. It's just convincing a bunch of women to kind of do online favors for you is just the lamest the lamest thing. And I was surprised he didn't lose more followers for that. But on the other hand, his streams were quite entertaining if you're looking for a laugh and like a humorous D&D game, because his skill was at finding players who were goofballs or famous streamers who were goofballs who would join him and then just create drama by being good streamers and popular streamers. That's how he got his fame. So I think his was an intentional picking and choosing, and he knew some people already because of their old role-playing games with like Rafflegator and stuff like that, and VR chat and all that. So he had a crew of already existing well-known streamers that were apparently his friends. A lot of them have dropped him now, but you know, he soared to the heights, and his wings got burned off like Icarus. So he's back now, and he's got maybe a third of his numbers, so he's still doing pretty good. So you can go through something like that and still not lose everything, but or cancel culture isn't as bad as people think, I guess. I don't know. I'm fascinated by his story, but I've watched some of his older streams where when he was first getting out, he was definitely a controlling kind of DM and not a granted, though, the people he picked to run games for were all over the place and goofing around most of the time. So I think he might have had original intentions of doing more serious and more well thought out and long running stories, but his arrogance kind of got the better of him, and he maybe shouldn't have picked those players, I suppose, if he wanted something different. But he did create his own living world, and he had a whole Discord and like 50 or so DMs running games in his world, and he did lose all of that. So I think the little empire he created in his world kind of went somewhere, and then it didn't, and then it was gone, and now he's building it up again. Hopefully he's gotten help for his insecurity problems that caused him to do all of those horrible things to his female I don't know what to call them, like players and admin people that helped him get where he was. And, you know, maybe he'll be a little more grateful to the people that helped him build back up and pay his artists and stuff like that. So, but, you know, ultimately, it's just a thing. So anyway, that is it.